After 19 years of marriage, Nicole Kidman finally told everyone the truth about her relationship with Keith Urban. For a long time, people thought they were the perfect couple. They were both famous. She's a movie star and he's a country music singer. Everyone thought they had everything: fame, a family, and true love. But something was wrong that nobody knew about. In new interviews, Nicole started talking about feeling tired and lonely. What looked perfect on the outside was actually really hard on the inside. Now, after almost 20 years together, Nicole is telling the real story that nobody saw. But first, let's go back to the beginning. Backhand index pointing right if you like celebrity stories. Please subscribe so you don't miss any videos. How their love story started. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban met in the early 2000s. She was already a famous actress, and he was becoming a big country music star. When they met, they really liked each other right away. In 2006, they got married in Sydney, Australia. It was a beautiful wedding with candles and their families. People all over the world watched and thought it was like a fairy tale. Over the years, they walked on red carpets together, smiled in photos, and had 2 daughters. Everyone thought they were the perfect example of love and fame working together. But what people saw wasn't the whole truth. Behind all the smiles, things were getting harder. Fame and busy schedules were slowly pulling them apart. For almost 20 years, they looked happy, but something was quietly changing. Living 2 different lives. Nicole lived in the world of movies, going to film sets all over the world, attending big movie premieres, and working in Hollywood. Keith lived on the road, traveling for concerts, playing shows in big arenas, and always being away from home. At first, it seemed okay. But slowly, their careers pulled them in different directions. She would fly to Europe or Australia to make movies. He would travel all across America for his concerts. They tried to stay close. Nicole would visit his concerts when she could, and Keith would visit her on movie sets. But they were always so busy that they hardly had time to just be together. Friends said that being apart so much became a normal part of their marriage, but it was also really hard. What looked like balance was actually 2 people living separate lives. And soon, small problems started to show. The pressure of being famous. Being famous meant that everyone was always watching them. Every time they smiled, held hands, or walked on a red carpet, people took pictures and talked about them. The world expected them to always be perfect, but keeping that perfect image was getting harder and harder. Nicole was trying to be a good mom and also work on big movies. Keith was always traveling and feeling lonely. Every time they appeared in public, people expected to see them happy and in love. But the truth was different. Sometimes, the quiet between them said more than any words. Keith didn't talk much about his feelings in interviews. He put his emotions into his music instead. Nicole was always calm and graceful, but she learned how to hide her pain. Fame gave them money and success, but it also took away their privacy and peace. They smiled for cameras, but inside, their relationship was quietly struggling. Then, people started to notice that something wasn't right. Quick pause if you're enjoying this story, please hit the like button. It helps more people see the video. Nicole talks about her feelings. Nicole Kidman has always been known for staying calm and graceful. But sometimes, in interviews, she would say things that showed she was struggling. She talked about feeling lonely, missing home, and wanting peace in her busy life. She never said anything directly about Keith, but people could feel that something was wrong. At movie events, Nicole would talk about how acting made her feel alive. Some people thought it meant she was escaping from her real-life problems. She always smiled in public and looked happy, but people close to her noticed that she didn't like answering personal questions. She would only talk about her work or her kids. Nicole was protecting herself. She was keeping the hard parts of her life private. Her words were quiet and thoughtful, but they told the story of a woman trying to hold everything together: love, fame, and loneliness, all at the same time. But while Nicole spoke softly about her feelings, Keith's truth was told in a different way. Keith's lonely life on the road. While Nicole talked in interviews, Keith Urban told his story through his music. For years, his concerts were full of energy and passion. But behind the applause, there was another reality: the lonely life of being on tour. Keith once said in an interview that tour life was lonely and miserable. Even though he was famous and loved by millions, he often felt isolated and exhausted. On stage, he was the happy performer everyone loved. Off stage, he was a husband trying to stay connected to his wife from thousands of miles away. Over time, fans noticed that his songs started to change. They became more about sadness, distance, and regret. People wondered if his lyrics were secretly about his own life. Keith's double life wasn't about secrets or lies. It was about living two different realities: the famous musician and the lonely man missing home. While Keith expressed his feelings through music, Nicole's full truth was still waiting to be told. When their marriage ended. After 19 years of marriage, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban officially separated. The news came out quietly. There was no drama or fighting, just a calm announcement that their marriage was over. Fans around the world were shocked and sad. For almost 20 years, they seemed like the perfect couple. But even the strongest relationships can fall apart over time. People noticed that the split wasn't because of anger or conflict. It was because of exhaustion, two people living separate lives for too long. Years of being apart, busy schedules, and growing emotional distance had slowly broken what once felt unbreakable. When the news came out, Nicole focused on her work and her kids. Keith stayed quiet and let his music speak for him. Their love didn't end in a big explosion. It just quietly faded away. And then, Nicole finally started to share her truth. Nicole finally tells her truth. When Nicole finally spoke about the separation, she wasn't angry or upset. She was calm and honest. She didn't blame anyone. Instead, she talked about growth, peace, and learning to live truthfully after years of hiding her feelings. In one interview, Nicole said she had reached a place where truth matters more than appearances. That sentence meant a lot to fans who had watched her struggle quietly for so many years. She said that love is beautiful but also fragile. To her, the end of her marriage wasn't a failure, it was a change. She said, "Sometimes, the greatest love is knowing when to let someone go." Nicole's truth wasn't about drama. It was about being honest and finding peace. Her calm strength reminded everyone why so many people admire her, not just as an actress, but as a person who faces pain with dignity. And while Nicole found her voice, fans started noticing something about Keith's music. Quick reminder, what do you think happened? Was it fame, distance, or time that changed everything? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more celebrity stories. Keith's music changed. After the separation, Keith Urban's music sounded different. His voice was softer and more emotional. Fans who had listened to him for years could feel the change. His new songs were more about loss, healing, and reflection. It seemed like he was singing about his own life, about love that faded and lessons he learned. On stage, Keith was different too. Instead of being the energetic performer, he played quieter, more emotional songs. It felt like he was being more honest with himself and his fans. Keith never said the songs were about his marriage, but he didn't have to. The music said it all. Fans saw a man who was no longer hiding. He was using music to heal. And as Keith played his truth on stage, Nicole was quietly living hers offstage. Together, their reflections told a bigger story than just heartbreak. What double life really means. For years, people talked about their double life, but it wasn't about lies or secrets. It was about living two realities at the same time. For Nicole, it was being strong in public but struggling in private. For Keith, it was being a famous performer while feeling lonely inside. Their love was real, but so was the distance that came with fame. The double life wasn't evil, it was survival. It was how two people tried to protect each other while their careers kept pulling them apart. In the end, the phrase double life became a symbol. It showed the balance between image and truth, between who they were together and who they became alone. Their story wasn't about scandal. It was about endurance and learning that even powerful love can be tested when two lives go in different directions. Nicole today, starting over. After the separation, Nicole Kidman didn't hide. She seemed renewed and stronger. She kept working on movies, spending time with her kids, and finding peace. The woman who was once known for her marriage was now known for her strength. Nicole looked calmer and happier. She wasn't angry or broken, she was free. She became a symbol of healing, showing that moving on doesn't have to be loud. It can be quiet and graceful. And as she moved forward, one question stayed in people's minds. After all that love, loss, and silence, what does truth really mean? Final thoughts, what truth really means. In the end, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's story isn't about scandal or lies. It's about two people who loved each other deeply, tried their best, and learned that even strong love can change. Nicole's truth wasn't about exposing secrets. It was about finding peace and being honest. Keith's journey was the same, through music and reflection. He showed that being vulnerable is actually strong. The double life they lived, the performer and the person, the image and the reality, is something many people can relate to. It's about letting go of what others expect and finding peace in what's real. They may have lived two lives, but they shared one story, built on love, hard work, and the courage to start again. Because in the end, the greatest truth isn't about what was lost. It's about what was finally found. If you believe every story has two sides, don't forget to subscribe for more untold celebrity stories, where truth speaks louder than rumors.